Are you a serial monogamist, or do you know someone that is? That term is used to describe someone that jumps from relationship to relationship to relationship. Why may you be a serial monogamist? Why may someone just not have that space to be on their own and be in their own space? There are many reasons, of course. Afraid of being alone. There is a codependent nature within that person. In other words, they define themselves and their value and their worth by others. They define themselves by being in relationship. They may be afraid of commitment. They may be afraid of longer term, deep, rich commitment, and so they jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. They're scared of being alone, that fear of not having someone else and their identity not being defined by being in relationship could be something very real. It could be that they're addicted, that you are addicted to the hormonal rush of the honeymoon period, and when the honeymoon period wears off and wanes, you're out of that relationship and you're into another one because the rush that comes from that's really powerful. Are these patterns that maybe you're seeing in yourself, and maybe what are you running from? Can you ask yourself that? You know, in my experience, I've had breaks between my relationships, and I've had reprieve and relief in between my relationships, and my wounding was a little bit different. But it's really important to understand why we do what we do. Where does it come from? So there's nothing actually wrong with being in one relationship and then pretty much moving into another. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with that, but where does it come from? Is it coming from pain and fear? Is it coming from fear of being seen in another way? Is it coming from a fear of not having someone in your life? When we look at the masculine, feminine within ourselves, is the feminine within ourselves disrupted? Does she feel unstable? Is the container, the inner container of self, the masculine container of self, is that not connected and grounded and whole? What's happening? Why is it important to be on our own? It's very important to be on our own because we get to know who we are. We become interdependent, independent, self-reliant, sovereign, self-respecting beings. And we bring that wholeness into the relationships that we want or the relationships that we move into. Now, do we have to be an intimate romantic partnership? No, we don't. It's not a necessary thing in any capacity. We don't have to be in an intimate relationship. However, if we're choosing to, we want to know why we're choosing to be in an intimate relationship. It's important because it helps us define ourselves. It helps us get clear on the people that we're attracting and the quality of relationships that we are drawing and bringing into our lives. And so being a serial monogamist, jumping from one relationship to another, generally means we don't get to know ourselves. We don't know the wholeness of who we are. So we bring fracture and brokenness into the relationship. And then we usually blame and project others, or we have a pity party for ourselves. And how do we alleviate that? By moving into another relationship. So what are we running from? That's a question you need to ask. And everybody's fears are different. Everybody's fears are individual to them. And it means something to them. So I urge you, I encourage you to go deep into yourself. And if you know someone, or if you yourself are someone that jumps from relationship to relationship without having that space to get to know yourself, to get to know your hobbies, your values, what's important to you, what you love, what you dislike, what you don't, to be comfortable in your own skin, to be comfortable in silence and stillness, to know and learn how to disagree with yourself and how to agree with yourself. To get clear what your negotiables and non-negotiables are, because we can't do that in relationship. We can, of course, but we have to have a foundation first. So if we don't have that foundation, what can we bring to relationship? We bring erraticness, we bring confusion, we bring more distance. So I think the opportunity here is to be comfortable being in our own skin and being alone with ourselves, in solitude, healthy solitude. Power and blessings. I'll see you soon.